So welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to be talking about a little known series called Exile. Here we go. So I'm really excited. I get to look at Exile today. And so I'm going to explain what these games are about and what systems it came out on and all that good stuff. The Exile series was created by Telenet Japan. The first game in the series never came to this country. It was released only on the MSX computer in Japan. And the actual game over there is called XZR, strangely enough. And it's here that we meet our main character, Sadler. So in the first game, Sadler is like an Islamic assassin. And he set out to kill somebody, and that's what you basically accomplish in the first game. Now, the second game in the series is actually known as XZR2, and that came out over here on the Genesis and on the Turbo Duo. It was brought over in the Genesis by Renovation. It was brought to the Turbo Duo over here by our good friends Working Designs. One of the coolest things I think about the Exile series is just the storyline in general. It takes place during the Crusades, and it's a very controversial series. Because we've never seen a real good translation of this. A lot of the themes in Exile, say healing items and stuff like that, are actually narcotics. And obviously when it got brought over here by Working Designs, they actually had to change some of those things. So that was one thing that was unfortunate. We've never seen a really good translation of Exile over here. Just a little bit about gameplay for a second. It's basically an overhead game. So we go into towns and talk to people, find out clues where we're supposed to go next. And we can upgrade our equipment, and there, when we leave a town, we go into an overworld map. And we go to, say, the next section, maybe a temple or something like that. That's when we go into a side view, action-esque RPG kind of view. And so it's basically a side-scrolling action game at this point. And then basically you can go through the level, you're fighting monsters and stuff like that, and you're gaining levels. Basically these dungeons are, they're kind of complicated. There's a lot of different doors that you can go in that lead into other areas, So that's one of the things that can get a tiny little bit confusing in Exile. So the second game picks up kind of where the first game left off. And Sadler is basically, he's going around with one of the knights of the Knights Templar. And they're basically trying to end some of the religious turmoil that's going on in the second game. I won't give too much away because it's kind of cool to actually find out the story. I think the storyline is one of the cooler aspects of Exile, that's for sure. So, obviously Exile was released over here on the Turbo Duo and on the Genesis. And I just want to use this time just to talk about the differences between both versions. Exile on the Genesis is a very nice version of this game. The graphics are very good. I'd actually say they're better than the Turbo Duo version. The sound it's okay. The sound on the Turbo Duo version, on the other hand, is excellent. It's very, very good. Now, it has an English dub, courtesy of our friends at Working Designs. And is the dub very good? No, it's actually quite humorous at times, though. It's not the worst dub I've ever heard. Like, dubs like Last Alert and Final Zone 2 on the Turbo Duo, those are bad dubs. This one is adequate, it gets by, but there is a couple of fun moments with it.
If this is a snare to pain, I'll strangle you with your entrails.
So Exile here is actually number 2 in the series. Number 3 came out, but only on the Turbo Duo in Japan, and it was brought over here by Working Designs as Exile 2 Wicked Phenomenon. Working Designs, I guess, figured that Exile wasn't challenging enough of a game, so they actually upped the difficulty level in the sense that it would actually take more hits to kill enemies. And that's what actually hurts the third game, is it makes it really hard. Like, they upped it way too much. I guess they wanted you to get your money's worth, but man, it makes it almost unplayable, I hate to say. It's a very hard game. So the difference actually in the third game to the previous two is In the first two games, you had a party. You had your party members, and you could only play as Sadler though. In the third game, Wicked Phenomenon, you can actually play as other party members. So you can actually go to a level and pick which character you thought would be the best for that level. Now this game is really, really rare. It actually goes for over $100 on eBay. It still does. I actually just checked the other night and it's still up there. It was actually about $140 when I was looking on eBay. So it's still a very rare Turbo Duo game. What I find really sad is that I love the Exile series. I love the world. I love the environment. I love that, you're dealing with knights in the crusade and, you're in this Arabian world. It's, setting with monsters and all that. I think it's such a cool setting for a video game. And I've always loved Exile. I first played it on the Genesis, then I got the Turbo Duo version, and then I played Exile Wicked Phenomenon later on. And I just love the series, and it's so unfortunate that you can't go on, say, the Wii and on the Virtual Console and download it. It's not there. And the only way to actually play this series is if you go and buy the original Genesis version or buy the Turbo Duo versions, which is very, very sad. I wish more people could have enjoyed this game. I wish it had was a little bit more wider known, but it never caught on, and it's really unfortunate. And I can understand that. We only really got a Genesis version here. We know the Turbo Duo wasn't a super smash system, so I can't blame anybody for not playing it. But I definitely wanted to bring it up in a review and talk about Exile and how cool I thought this was, and hopefully maybe it sparked an interest. Maybe you guys are a little bit more interested in Exile. Maybe want to go try it out. Maybe find the Genesis version. That's probably the cheapest version to buy. You can actually buy Exile on the Turbo Duo for probably about $20 to $30, so it's not that bad. The games aren't that long. You can get through them, I should say maybe 6 to 10 hours, depending on what you want to do. But they're a classic RPG series that have never really gotten the coverage that they deserved. And I just love it, and I wanted to bring it up to you guys, and hopefully you got a kick out of it. So anyways, till next time.